Interesting things are happening in Zimbabwe, and we need to take a look on what George Charamba had to say. Remember, he is the presidential spokesperson, and when the president's office is on fire, he's the one who quickly give an alert. This is something which you cannot ignore when everything is happening. So there is a war between general and number one. They're actually fighting visibly. For the past few days, it's now public that these people are not in good terms. So what makes me, question a lot about what is really happening is a letter which was purported to have originated from General Chiwenga's office. And when this letter was reported, it was dismissing today's protests. And it was talking about a lot of things, saying that everybody or anybody who is going to participate in those protests will be arrested and will be liable for whatever which happens. And it was pasted on presidential communications letterhead. Then George comes, distances his office and himself from this letter entirely. And this is something which is so shocking. George is supposed to be the one who is leading the propaganda, but he's actually distancing himself from everything. And this leaves people with questions. Is the general in support of the demonstration or not? No one knows now, because George is actually saying the letter is fake. And does not only say it's fake, he says that this is abuse of government stationery. And he says that it was pasted on government stationery without the knowledge, involvement, or sanction of the Department of Presidential Communications, which lead. And he says to which the original stationery belongs. So there is somebody from within who used this for their own personal gain. What it means is the house or the office of the president is divided 100%. Georgie does not deny that it originated from very close to the office. He says it originated from the office, but without the knowledge of his department or a department which he is leading. How can somebody originate a letter without the knowledge of the person in charge of the presidential communications? If it was General Chiwenga who authored it, George would have known about this whole letter. So he went on to say, bona fide messages from sincere sources never forge or fraudulently abuse government stationery to redeem themselves. Bona fide messages from sincere sources never forge or fraudulently abuse government stationery to redeem themselves. He then went to say, we regard such a seemingly well-meant messaging act as a thin end of the wedge. Left unchallenged, the next act is downright criminality. All genuine statements which are traceable to the presidency, be security features of the department, and genuine signatures of authors concerned. So what George is actually saying is this never originated from General Chiwenga, because he's saying genuine signatures of authors, which means that the author of this one is not general. There is no signature of the general which is genuine. So the bottom line is the house is on fire. Where we are actually going with this whole thing, it will explode. And when it explodes, ZANU-PF won't survive it. This is what a lot of people have been praying for. This is what Zimbabweans have been praying for. The explosion of ZANU-PF, the end of ZANU-PF. Let us go to today. Protests are supposed to be happening in Harare. There are roadblocks in each and every road which leads to town, which means there is a deliberate act to make sure that while they are in Mutare, doing whatever which they are doing there, no one must get into the streets of Harare. The new venue, which was announced by Comrade Geza, is barricaded right round by the police. For the first time, Comrade Geza's team is on the ground. And this is the first time Comrade Geza's team is on the ground. We have seen Sarwaka is there. We have seen Mazbaba Shanduko is there. We have seen other MPs from the opposition. They are there. What it means is we have a representation from Team General Geza. We have a representation from those aligned to Mkomana. We have representatives from Parliament. So this is a signal. To me, this is concerning to because it's a signal of where we are going. I believe that this is just the beginning of what is to come. When you see big names appearing on television or appearing on X or appearing on Facebook or on WhatsApp giving a signal, it will be a mess, a total mess. I believe that they cannot make a move now because the general is yet to be fired, and Mnangagwa is likely going to delay the firing of General Chiwenga so that he manages the situation. But the biggest question is, for how long is he going to be able to do that? Because there is a fear that if anything happens to Mnangagwa and General Chiwenga is still in the office of the vice president, is still holding a position within ZANU-PF, he automatically becomes Zimbabwe president. So they are thinking about ways to make him less influential. Number one, they're contemplating on firing General Chiwenga from ZANU-PF, but retain him as the country's vice president. One way or the other, if something happens to Mnangagwa, General Chiwenga still becomes president temporarily. And given that he's a man with connections, it won't be temporarily anymore. He will then make quick moves to get himself back into ZANU-PF, and then he takes it over from there. And no one will be able to block him from there. Once he assumes the role as the president, he can do anything and no one stops him. Which means even if he becomes president temporarily, while his ZANU-PF is finalizing on something, he then does have an opportunity to quickly introduce new systems and change the government overnight. Something which gives him an upper hand. So when they are making deliberations and they are discussing on this whole issue, these are the issues which they're talking about. So it's a very complex matter to keep General as vice president but not as the second secretary within ZANU-PF. It will be something else. And also another issue is, if we are to remove Chiwenga as the second secretary within ZANU-PF, we will have to replace him. Who is going to fill the vacancy? So that is another question. So when you are looking at this whole issue, Team Mafidi is having sleepless nights. Things are not okay. They do not know what is being planned on the ground against them, what is going to hit them. They do not even understand and know. Another option is we retain General Chiwenga both within ZANU-PF and within government, and we buy time. But as I said, their biggest fear is if Mnangagwa is to go, something happens, General Chiwenga automatically becomes president and they're in trouble. So they are in a situation where one of their own is very, very close to power, say that he or she becomes president when something happens to Mnangagwa, just in case. So this is a very critical moment we are in Zimbabwean politics, and at this point in time, we can say there is fire in the cockpit. The presidential office is on fire. George Charamba coming to dismiss this letter, it's something else. Also to call the authors of this letter criminals, it's something else. So this letter, it has been deemed fake, number one. Number two, the people behind it, they have been called criminals. What we do not know is who authored it, because definitely General Chiwenga is not part and parcel of this letter, because according to George, the signature was forged. So if the signature was forged, if the signature is not genuine, it means it never originated from General Chiwenga himself. So someone else had to produce this. This is where everything starts. So this is just the beginning of bigger things which are about to come into the nation of Zimbabwe. A lot of questions are, will they survive? We do not know. Remember, this today is the most critical day within ZANU-PF's conference. Today and tomorrow, key decisions will have to be made. And they are thinking, contemplating, and they are not decided on General Chiwenga. What must happen to General Chiwenga? Must he go? Must he stay? So wait to see what happens, but this is what we have for you at this point in time. So just know that this letter, it has been reported fake by the president's office. And this time around, vanhu vari kuita zveprotest yageza vari paground. Chimbozvibvunzai one question, kuti who is protecting them? Why are they not being arrested? Kubva riini vachifamba muHarare varume ava havasati vasungwa? Mukagona kuanza mubvunzo iyoyo, you will see what is called people power. Then ask yourself the question, okay, kana Geza asina basa, ko mapurisa akazarirei muroad? Ko vanhu vari kumboitirwa iko stop and search vachirambidzwa kuenda kuHarare? Very, very interesting moments ahead. We wait to see what happens. So let me take just a few comments before we end this program. Okay, Masanga, thank you very much for the contribution and for coming. Vice says, is this protest going to succeed? I believe that this protest is already succeeded in sending a message to the regime, and also in showing how divided this regime is and how these people are unsettled. And another thing is, the biggest question you have to ask yourself, why is it that the people on the ground have not yet been arrested, yet they are making videos on daily basis? So as long as they are not arrested, just be rest assured that they are simply waiting for something to happen so that they can send a signal, kuti ngachibvondoke, ngachichaya. So I believe Kuti General is well protected and well connected. The man is still powerful. If he can protect some of the comrades at the ground, then it's something else. And also let us remember the National Youth Service people, those guys who came out publicly. They have not been arrested. The police issued a statement, but they have not been arrested yet. Who is protecting them again? So very, very interesting moments. We wait to see what happens, but regai tuone kuti zvinopera sei.